Hello, everybody, and welcome out to episode 129 of the Save Slot 3 Gamescast. I'm your host, UF Gizmo. Joined us by Master Daz
Hello, everyone.
and CW Lanky.
Hey.
So I do have a bit of a cold, so I do apologise if I trip over myself and I sound like deaf on a stick. But I blame the Lord, Craigo.
He works in mysterious ways, they say, Dave.
He does, and much like my pulled hamstring, we need to get this started. So we start this week, as we always do, with the Pengi's news desk.
We have
time for some news.
7 items of news
A baker's dozen.
this week. Yeah. Well, and there's also the bonus news that we had some Kojima presentation, and who doesn't love Kojima presentation? It's great. We're getting a photo mode, Dave.
I have seen Pengi, and it's the ramblings of a madman. I think that's a Pengi's exclusive video at some point.
Yeah.
Wait, was that just the presentation in the photo mode?
No, the presentation an hour and a half. We had a music. We had the music number. We had some dancing. We got a photo mode.
The phrase is self-indulgent, Craigo.
We got
You
names.
just sat there watching some people dancing, Penguin.
No, that was at the the end. One of the guys that's in the thing is like some Japanese pop star, so he did his new song there on stage and that.
God.
And in the game there's some dancing as well, and yeah, it's the photo mode. And we got some new names as well, like George Miller's character is called Tar Man.
Well, we're very, very excited to hear about it when you play the game, Chris.
Yeah,
but I don't believe that's part of the news.
No, that was
We got a TikTok dance from Penguins doing there.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
That's what they actually said. They were like, "Oh yeah, we hope this dance the guy was doing and takes popping on TikTok and stuff." It's like, okay.
You're a true Kojima fan, Pengi. That's what
He's having a radio show as well, I believe. You
listen to the podcast?
I've not listened to the podcast, and the radio show is going to be on Japanese radio station. So
you're telling me you haven't learned Japanese?
No, I don't even know. Well, I expect I can listen to the Japanese radio station somehow, but yeah. But that's the Kojima news.
That sounds incredible.
It was incredible. In other news, number 1, Ken and Chun-Li are going to be in the new Fatal Fury game. And we recently had Terry in Street Fighter 6. I don't think Mai is in Street Fighter 6 yet. I'll be getting a Capcom versus SNK, Dave.
Potentially. They keep re-releasing the other ones.
Yeah, like the old ones in the collection. So it would bring fans when they're and stuff, and then obviously the characters appear in the other games. So yeah, let's just make a Capcom versus SNK game. That would be great to get a new one of them. Maybe the third one, if they put a number on it. I don't know.
We'll wait and see, Pengi.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yes, that didn't interest you none whatsoever, Craigie. Possible fighting game crossovers.
No, God no.
That's a shame. That's a shame. What does excite Craig is Black Myth Wukong has now sold over 20 million copies. We sort of talked about this in the last podcast with the State of Play, the Souls likes, and I did say they just sell, and here we are, 20 million copies. None of us has still bought it, so yeah, we're not.
There's probably only one of us that will as well. I'm going to assume. So.
Yeah. So, are you excited for more Souls games then, Craig?
No, not at all.
No. You, Davey?
No, I'll leave that one to you, Pengi.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And next, also following up from last week, when we had Attilia appear in the Xbox thing, and Craig, you said, "Oh, they normally get 2 a year. They pump these out." Guess what, Craig? They announced another one. Attilia Resilina and the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian is coming. It's based on the mobile game. It's coming to PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC in 2025. So we're getting 2 Attilia games next year. Craig, are you excited for 2 Attilia games?
Well, the phrase "based on a mobile game" would concern me personally.
I think that came out last year, the mobile game, when we didn't have, or was it this year when we didn't have an Attilia game?
Yeah,
but yeah, it's the same world and universe as the mobile game.
Yeah, that wouldn't make me put a lot of faith in it, but yeah. I feel like the big ones, the one that is it Yumi or whatever the hell it's
Yeah,
called?
yeah.
That seems to be the one that they're kind
From
of
the
really pushing.
trailer for this, it does look more like the older like Atelier games.
Well, it just looks like the same game over and over again.
Well, yeah, but the new one, does look like different, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
Dave said in
Whereas
the
the
last
one,
episode, like
the old one
Tales, all the Tales games look the same, and then you got Tales of Arise, which like let's put a budget at this and thing, but it could still be points on fantasy credit. The game Atelier games normally are. So we've got 2 of them we can draft next year. And there's been allegedly in the works a new StarCraft shooter. Dave, are you going to be disappointed for a third time?
Yeah, it's a funny one. If they actually make it, it might be quite fun because it's a cool universe, and it's I don't know how much Craig knows about StarCraft, but it's kind of Halo-ish. It would be an interesting thing if they were to pull it off, as long as it's a single-player shooter, obviously.
Yeah. I'm old. I remember when Ghost was supposed to be a thing on the original Xbox. That was going to be like a third-person shooter. Was it Nova? She called you going to play as? From what I
Yeah, it was
remember?
quite close to completion as well. I mean, I remember seeing
Mhm.
footage of it.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Craig, would you play a StarCraft-based shooter?
Well, I mean, assume it would go onto Game Pass, wouldn't it?
It
So
will.
Yeah.
I would really give it a go.
Mm.
I don't know. There was talk of Blizzard setting up. I don't know if it was one studio or a couple of studios that were going to be focusing. Supposedly, Jez reported they're supposedly focusing on like smaller games, like AA kind of spin-offs of games. So, I don't know if people are just putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, but maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah. It is like they said a universe that you can explore and flesh out the characters and stuff like that. Because I'm sure Nova becomes someone else or something in StarCraft, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah. Next items on news: the 84 rated Metroidvania 9 Souls is coming to consoles in November. So we haven't got Silk Song or anything. We got 9 Souls instead coming. Craigie, one for you maybe? You do like a 2D Metroidvania now and again.
Yeah, I know. Some of the guys on Game Mess talking very highly of this, but I don't know if it's like one of those hardest dicks ones.
I feel it might be, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it might be as well, which would probably put me off in all honesty, because I do like a Metroidvania, but I'm more more like the chill with a little bit of challenge as opposed to smashing my head against a brick wall and just wanting it all to end. Every single different tile that you get to is just misery. Desperately clinging on to the next checkpoint. I don't know if I want. I don't know if I want that in my life. In all honesty.
I do remember with 9 Souls on Kind of Funny. Was it Mike? They showed him a trailer of that and then a trailer of the other one, Bow Path of the Two Lotus. And it's like, they're the same game. It did look very similar, those 2 games, I think. I think Bow like quite highly reviewed as well, but that is already on consoles. And that next one, I guess Davey put into this one. PS5 Pro is yet to sell out in the US or the UK, but as there was a Push Square thing on Thursday, it was actually sold out on Thursday. The PS5 Pros.
So yet again, you've accused me of being the hater, and yet again, I am not the hater.
Sorry, Dave.
I feel like this is a personal attack at this point, Craig. You keep getting away with all this dirty work, and it's me that gets thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
Although I don't really think it's dirty. I just think it's I don't know. I saw it on Twitter. I think Tom Warren was pointing it out, and I did actually notice. I went to have a look a few days ago to see if they were still available, and I was quite surprised to see that they were still available to buy or pre-order. Because I personally thought, even with the big price point, I was like, oh, these would sell. These would be gone within minutes. So I was very surprised to see that even now, like, I can just go on and pre-order one, and it's as easy as that.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. Obviously, we spoke about how we thought that the next consoles are all going to be around this price point, if not more. And maybe you look at the pre-orders of this and go, "Cool, maybe that's going to worry PlayStation, Xbox a little bit."
Yeah, I think they were very clever to put the 30th anniversary stuff on the same time, because at least they can play the headlines of like it's sold out in minutes.
Yeah.
Because like
Gotcha. Of course.
obviously like if you've gone on there, I think most people went on there to get something 30th anniversary related. I mean, and again, like I've seen a lot of scalping, and it's all 30th anniversary. Like no one cares about the main one. Like I've seen so many like there's like appeared on my TikTok like companies that are literally like there's like groups of men, all they do is pre-order stuff they scalp. Like that's the entire business model, and they were all sat there and they all wanted something 30th. They weren't fussed about the actual PS5 Pros. I mean, do we know anyone that's pre-ordered a PS5 Pro?
No, not personally.
So it's
I
like
do like the idea of it fucking over the scalpers, though. If there were people who, thought they were trying to be smart here by pre-ordering one, and now they're going to be, maybe just getting their money back or even losing a bit of money. That'd be, I quite like that idea. And I guess it's good for you, Pengi, because obviously you've said that you probably will get one, but not a launch. So at least you maybe know that it's not going to
the
be
thing. I
an
never
absolute
really
pain in the ass.
expected it to sell out. I just thought that it's one of those. It's not like a new console, and it's not a special edition. It's just like I just thought I couldn't remember like the PS4, like the PS4 Pro. I just walked up and bought one in like work, and like, I was expecting much the same for this. I just think there'd be enough of them. Sort of thinking by the time I want one, that you think there'd be plenty like come February or March or whenever I get one. So, and then next item of the news: Akira officially developing a new entry in the Tetra Grandmaster series.
that one was
Dave,
me. That one was
you a
me.
big Tetris fan?
I am a big Tetris fan. So Tetris the Grandmaster, for those that are not educated, is basically like the competitive Tetris series. And there was one I believe was an Xbox 360 launch title in Japan.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which was like the main reason that the 360 sold well in Japan, which is really funny. But yeah, they haven't actually done one for a long time. But I thought it was an interesting tidbit that they're bringing that series back, because it does tend to do quite well. I know they've got the Tetris Forever and there's the VR Tetrises and all that. But yeah, the Tetris the Grandmaster tends to be the versions that sell. I like the competitive, like score based.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that what Logan Paul played in or something in that tournament?
Yeah, something random.
Yeah, or something like that. So yeah, I do like a Tetris, but I think Tetris Effect is so good. I don't know if I would want to go back to a regular old Tetris or even similar to it. What about you, Craig? Do you like some Tetris?
No, I don't want to go back to any Tetris ever, I'll be honest with you.
Oh no, he's more of a pure guy, or a bubble. Your puzzle thing, is it, Craigie? Is that your favourite puzzle games?
I don't know I've ever. The only thing with Bubble I know is the music.
Yeah, okay.
The music's pretty banging.
Anyway, that is the news.
Thank you, Pengi. Well, today's episode, obviously, is going to be a little bit less structured because we had our big TGS stuff and all that. So we thought it's time for Chris Pengelly to take the stage. And so the topic of the show, Chris, is Chris Pengelly versus the Switch. So Chris Pengelly, come on, talk to us. Talk all things Switch with the boys.
What would you like to know first?
Well, first of all, Chris, tell the viewers what you've done.
I've basically solved all my Switch stuff. I've got like 3 games and the controller left, or 2 controllers, I think, left. Yes. So that's all gone, pretty much.
Okay. And you're going to tell us why, Chris?
Because I am basically done with not Nintendo per se, but definitely with the Switch. It kind of reminds me a bit of the Xbox 360, right? Well, I was sort of done with the 360 in 2010. Xbox was going Connect, TV, all that stuff. But that I did keep around for like 2 more years, traded it in for the free Wii U, and I did play games still on it, like Halo 4 and Mass Effect 3, I want to say, come out after 2010. But I was playing more of my third-party stuff on the PS3. Like after that, like we talked about it when we did the Xbox episode, like Dishonored was in Craig's list. I played that in PS3. I played Tomb Raider on PS3. I played Bioshock Infinite. GTA 5 and all that stuff. Like I was done with like the 360, but it just stick around for a bit. And that's the sort of the thing that's happened with the Switch. Like we joked about like the year of the Switch which was like 2 years. Like it started with Monster Hunter Rise and finished, and what like killed the Switch for me was Tears of the Kingdom back in May last year. And again, this is where like the Xbox thing is like, oh yeah, 2 years there was nothing for me to play. It just hang about for a bit just in case. It's like in the 17 months since Tears of the Kingdom, I have played 4 games on my Switch. Pikmin 4, which is in my top 30 Switch games, so that is a pretty good game. Super Mario Wonder, and personally, I think Sonic Superstars is better. Which I played as well. Princess Peach and Snufkin, an indie title. That is what I've played on Switch in 17 months since Tears of the Kingdom. Not a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is unlike you, because you do like. You will normally go back for any exclusive. You love an exclusive, don't you? For any console, any system, you love an exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So like normally you would have gone back for your kind of your Paper Mario remakes or whatever else that Switch had at the start. There's some other stuff in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you could really tell how done you were with it when like even you are like, no, I can't be bothered to go back and play that on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like normally like even like we always joke that you hate Xbox, but normally if an Xbox exclusive comes out, you're there playing it normally.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Like the 360, like I was done with the 360, but it was still there. Like, oh, here comes Halo 4. I'm still going to be there to play Halo 4. I know Mass Effect 3 wasn't exclusive, but like the story continuing from 1 and 2, and obviously my character from that, it's like I'm still there for Mass Effect 3. It's like, yeah, I can't even be bothered to show up for Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake. On but saying that, I didn't play like Fable Lost the Anniversary on the Xbox either, so like I didn't turn off for remasters and remakes there either. So
what I mean, I know Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is kind of an easy point to say, right? That's where I didn't like that game, and then that maybe killed the Switch for me a bit. Kind of how I guess Final Fantasy did for
I was going to say it's very
PlayStation a little bit.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because did you sell your PlayStation as well?
Yeah, to me. Yeah.
The great PlayStation year of the Craig is courtesy of me hating Final Fantasy 16 so much that I got rid of it.
Yeah.
So do you think it's like, is it just that, or do you think maybe it's the Switch starting to feel a bit dated to you now in terms of like tech and hardware, or is it just pure like the quality of games just isn't speaking to you at all?
So on that, like when the Switch of like like the joking of the year of the Switch, and even on this list of what I've played, like Snufkin, obviously that was exclusive. I did play like the handheld a bit, and like Direfield Chronicles, I played like nearly all handheld. Played Live Alive nearly all handheld, and weirdly the Portal, even though the Portal is like remote play, is not native whatsoever, is kind of took that place. Like if I hadn't had the Portal, Star Ocean, the second story art, I would have played on Switch last year. But because I had the Portal, I played it on my PlayStation, in where again it's remote play, but it does look better because I'm just using like a small TV screen, really, and obviously owning the trophies and stuff like that. So that kind of killed it. Weirdly, like when we had our Steam Decks, me and Dave, that's what like I kind of was planning the Steam Deck to be, and I never was. It's like, it's going to be like my Switch, more powerful, better graphics and stuff. That's where I'll play the indies and the JRPGs and stuff. Never really did, but the Portal's definitely that. So then it has become the Switch, the Nintendo exclusive games, and this year, for me personally, has not been very good.
It's difficult because I think I'm with you for a lot of what you say, because I think it just doesn't hit for you. But the accusation that Nintendo's not been very good just isn't true. Like they've put a lot of games out, they've just not been for you. It's one of the, like you've had, like I said, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake, Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Mario and Donkey Kong, MEO, Peach, Showdown, Another Code Recollection, NES World, Endless Ocean. again, like this is just from your list. I don't know if there's anything else. We've still got Mario
Yeah,
Party to come. Still
that
got
is every
Mario
published game so far.
So you've got Mario and Luigi Brothership. On average, I think that's a pretty good average of games. I think it's almost a game a month. There's probably a game every 2 months that's worth playing. So I don't think it's. I just think you're done with the Switch. I don't think it's anything to do with the Switch's quality. Because if you compare it to other platforms, like Xbox have had Hellblade. Has there been anything else this year on
Xbox? Has had 3 games.
Age of Mythology, and what's the third?
And Aria was the 3 games.
Was that Aria? As in Aria Untold? Or
yeah, that's the 3 Xbox published games this year so far.
I didn't even realize that came out. And obviously, PlayStation's had Helldivers as a high, Concord as a low, Astrobot as a high, and now there's nothing else. Oh, there was Stellar Blade and Rise of Ronin, right, as well. I always forget those.
Yeah, so PlayStation's had 7 games.
Yeah, and I think all of them have probably been about... I think all 3 platforms have, ironically, probably had relatively similar open critic averages across those games. It's just, I think, Astrobot is the best game. So that's obviously it. But then Concord is probably the worst game that's exclusive that's come out this year, I would imagine, score-wise. So it's just, I just think you're done with it. I think
Endless Ocean could be lower, but I don't
But yeah, I think 9 games to 7 games to 3 games. I don't think there's a lack of quality on the console. I just think it's not stuff you want to play. To be honest,
yeah,
that's his appeal, though. I think I'm trying to think what Pengi is saying, because I kind of felt this before I saw my Switch. It's the appeal of like, do I actually want to play these games though?
Yeah,
I imagine that's kind of similar to what Pengels is saying.
It's
I think it's always weird with the Switch because they always have more exclusive content and more of their self content, but then they obviously don't have the third party support that the other consoles do. And then I look at those games that we've just listed and gone on and on there, and I'm like, well, I'd rather play most of the third party games that have come out this year than pretty much any of those, in all honesty.
The only one out of the 7 that's come out the 9 that's come out this year that I've played Peach. That's thing. That's, like I said, is one of the games I have played this year, which is early in the year. It's pretty good game. The only other one out of them that I actually want to play is Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which actually has come out this week. That is it. Like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, I've played before. Luigi Mansion 2, I've played before. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, no bothered about that. Emio is like a weird niche visual novel. Nest World, like that should have had online multiplayer. If that had not multiplayer, leader builds and stuff, if that had that might be more tempting. And then Endless Ocean, I was actually excited about, but then it reviewed very badly. So it's just Zelda Echoes of Wisdom that's out that I would play. And then you look at what's coming up. Like Mario Party Jamboree is most probably going to be a very good game, but it's not a game I would play. Mario and Luigi Brothership, I've never played the Mario Luigi series. Fitness Sports League 3, obviously not playing that. Donkey Kong HD remaster of a game that I have on my Wii. But Pokemon Z8, Legend Z8 and Metroid Prime 4, I would be excited for. So there is 3 games there that I would play. And I think, and I don't know if you guys, Metroid Prime 4 is especially going to be a cross-gen game with the Switch 2. Could be wrong there.
I think they all will. I think they didn't they find in one of the remakes like code to be up-res to 4K. That I think it was Paper Mario. Was like data mine. So I think most of them are going to have the when you put it in a Switch 2, it's 60 frames 1080p. When you put it in a Switch 1, it's 30 frames 720p or whatever. Like I think that's what it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be like 2 separate releases, if that makes sense.
I can see them doing that.
I think it's
done it before, but yeah,
it's difficult because I think the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 is the most similar tech they've ever done. Yeah. Potentially, again, it's not announced yet, so we don't know anything, do we? But like, it's more similar to PS4 to PS5 than say GameCube to Wii or Wii to Wii U or whatever, right? I think it's a little bit similar. Again, it's one of those things. I think it depends what you personally want to play, and obviously you've always been a PlayStation person because of trophies and all that stuff. So with the Portal, I think it fits what you would want from the Switch. Yeah. Me personally, I completely disagree because I think I look at this year's third party, and I don't think I've ever been as disappointed by video games as I have this year. Third party was like Dragon's Dogma was nowhere near what we thought it was going to be. That's one of the bigger ones. I'll talk about Final Fantasy Rebirth later. I don't know. I'm like funny because I'm the complete opposite. I'm completely burnt out with modern games, open world, like 200 gig patch day one games. Whereas I play, I don't know what am I playing at the minute, Monster Hunter HD, which is just a 3DS game on the Switch. And I'm loving it because it's just a well-made, good-looking game. But like you said, it's also this is the longest time we've had a Nintendo console. I think. And obviously, you've played everything. Like we can't emphasize to people enough. If you didn't used to watch this show, like Chris Pengelly bought every Switch game for about 3 years. So it's like
that's what I was saying. You know, like your Direfield and Star Ocean and stuff like that. I was buying everything and playing everything on the Switch, and now having it again. It's weird because the Portal isn't a more powerful system, but it sort of is because you just have
it's a PS5, isn't it? So it's like
a PS5, so it does look better and stuff. It's
essentially the Wii U. Right, it's essentially a PS5 Wii U.
Yeah, so I'm that sort of thing. But like I said, with the upcoming games, you got Zelda that's out.
Yeah,
that I want to play. Pokemon Legends ZA, I want to play, and Metroid Prime 4. Which out of those, like Zelda's already out, but I still think Prime 4 will be a cross-gen some way, even if it runs better on Switch 2, like you're saying, or there's 2 versions and stuff like that. So that's like 3 games, and obviously I've played like every Zelda games. Now, going into the Switch 2...
I was about to say, what would interest me is what would win you back for the Switch 2? Like, what's the Chris Pengelly want list for the Switch 2? I don't just mean like games, because I know there'd be games that you would want that would bring you back, but like, what's the like tech, what's the features, what's the systems that would make you like be like, oh yeah, I want to get back into Nintendo again?
Yeah, so obviously the games is a big one, and I'm thinking obviously those 3 games at the worst will play on the Switch 2 via backwards compatible, and that's how I will most play Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Mostly will play that game backwards compatible for the Switch 2, same with Pokemon and same with Metroid Prime 4, especially when the console comes out. There'll be a lull where there's nothing for a couple of months or something, because that happens at every launch. There's no games for ages, so I'm like, I can go back and buy Metroid Prime 4 and play that, that sort of thing. But like features and stuff, like if you look at like the recent leaked thing, like having a bigger screen is great, the 8-inch screen, but I don't think it's an OLED. I think it's an LCD, so that's kind of going backwards from my Switch. But then the Portal hasn't an OLED screen, and that is like really good sort of thing. But like, I'm already talking about like, oh, I want to switch to OLED, and we haven't even had to switch to yet, just for that better screen, sort of thing. Obviously, full backwards compatibility would be great, because obviously the Switch library is pretty thing. Like, carry on like my eShop and like profile, and having access to the NES games, and all that sort of jazz, because Nintendo's not very good at moving stuff forward. Like, how many times have Super Mario Bros. Been re-released? 999 times, most probably. And the other one, weirdly, and I know a lot of people don't like this, obviously fan of trophies, achievements and stuff like that. Like, Nintendo don't need to copy trophies, achievements, but I like some sort of ecosystem on the Switch. Like, the Wii U had the Miiverse, and then came to the 3DS. The Miiverse was great. I knew about water in every video game through the Miiverse. Where is my Miiverse on Switch? On Switch.
I think they need to avoid an achievement system, because I think there's too much crap on the eShop. Like, it's already ruined Xbox and PlayStation, because you can download a 5-second quiz game. Like, what's the point at that point, right? Because it's not what they intended.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Things. Yeah, they don't need to copy it.
No, I just don't think they will. That's the thing. Like, it's difficult with them.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, we were there like mid Wii U, and you turn your Wii U, and you have your jingle off your eShop, and even a little loading screen, and obviously the Miiverse, and you see all your little Mii's popping around and stuff like that. Like I said, there's the joking of the guy that was posting the waters from the thing, and then you had like, was it the Super Mario 3D World had like the badges system and stuff like that.
Yeah, had stamps.
And you could. And stats, you could post like stuff like that. Like, imagine Zelda, like a new Zelda, and it's like you've posted, it's like obviously you can take screenshots with the Switch, but like you've done that, like, oh, I found this cool thing, and you're posting on the Miiverse and stuff like that. A bit of personality, like there's no themes on the Switch, like 8 years, and there's like no themes, just a plain white background, no music, nothing like that. It's really dull. It's like you're going like Dave, like, oh, the modern gaming to 200 gig downloads and stuff like that. And the Switch, yes, very simple. You put a game in, it might have a patch or something, it works, you play, simple. That is what it is, the games console, but does really lack personality compared to the Wii U or the 3DS, the game before, or even like the Wii. We obviously got the jingle and you play Wii Sports, and it's like, get your little notifications, you played Wii Sports for 15 minutes, you scored 200 on bowling, that used to get, and all that sort of thing. Yeah, just especially for it's Nintendo. Nintendo is like pure personality and stuff like that, and they made like a doll of dishwash water system with the Switch.
It does feel very basic. I think you are right there. It feels almost like something you would expected like 15 years ago or something like that. In terms of like the UI and just how like, I don't know, how like feature lacking it feels as well in terms of just like the multiplayer and stuff like that. To me, would be a big one. I would have thought.
Yeah, that is one and stuff like that, because it's not hard to like set up, like, do a Mario Kart 8 game and something like that. But yeah, going into like the next Mario Kart and stuff like that, if they can make things like that better, it just feels. I know Switch is like, hopefully it's like I'm not gonna say test or something, but obviously Nintendo's first like attempt at making a hybrid system, sort of thing. Like, what can they do with the Switch 2 in terms of like that personality and stuff I mentioned that they didn't do with the Switch.
Do you reckon there's a cut off for you price wise that you'd be like willing to pay for the Switch 2? I know it's always a difficult question for Chris Pengi because they'll pay anything for anything, but like,
It's true.
If it's £500, let's say, would you be like, oh, is it too much, or would I rather just carry on playing my Portal and my Pro? And
Yeah, I think 500 is too much. Too much. Which sounds mad, because I'm like tempted to buy a Portal, and I'm not Portal, a PS5 Pro.
But the thing is, you're going to use that every day.
That's the thing with the PS5 Pro. I know I'm going to use that mostly for 3 years, sort of thing, or whenever the PS6 comes out. But let's say 3 years or something. Now that's the thing. And that's where I'll play Monster Hunter for whatever, how many hours, and Final Fantasy Part 3 or whatever they're going to call it, and that stuff. Where like Nintendo is just mostly going to be for Nintendo games for still. There'll be a few exclusives and stuff like Zombie U at the start of the Wii U, and Mario and plus Rabbids on Switch sort of thing. There'd be like those sort of games and stuff like that. But yeah, I think 500's too, but I think anything over 400 is pushing it, really. Because I look at 400 portable system mainly, like I could get a Steam Deck again for that, or like I don't know how much an ROG Ally is, sort of thing.
An ROG Ally is the cheapest one is 500.
Yeah.
And the Steam Deck OLED, let me just check because I know it's definitely not under 400. Yeah, it's difficult. I don't think
the base Steam Deck was under 400, was it?
Yeah, but the base Steam Deck was 309.
And they were losing money like crazy. They basically said, didn't they?
So the Steam Deck OLED, the cheapest one you can buy is £480, and the cheapest other one you can buy is $350 now.
Yeah,
but it's difficult because like I get what you're saying. I mean, I
the difficult
don't
is like
at all.
The Steam Deck won't have the Nintendo games. That's obviously
it's an ecosystem thing, isn't it? Because the Steam Deck I look at is like, because we both tried it, and I think we were both kind of like, oh, well, maybe we'll buy more Steam games. But in reality, it's what you've already got. Like, it's what Phil Spencer said, right?
Yeah,
it's your digital library. So
yeah, I just went back to my Nintendo. Right, I know how this works. Like,
yeah, and
I can go buy Dialfield on a cartridge for 40 quid instead of digital and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's like the example I always use with the Steam Deck is if, say, it was an Xbox one, Craig has an extensive Xbox library and Game Pass, so of course he's going to always buy Xbox for a handheld, right? If that's what he wants, like if you want your console games on a handheld, then you would buy your whatever your console manufacturer of choice makes, right?
Yeah. So that would also be that would be the big one, an Xbox handheld, or especially if you could dock it is well. I'm not expecting like Series X power, but if it's like equivalent to the Series S or that sort of thing, which I got now, it's like Series S, but I can dock it. I think it doesn't almost kill the Switch 2 for me, but it almost does, because it would then just be the Nintendo exclusives. Because I'd be like, I got Game Pass, I can play the indies and the Game Pass stuff on here. Like the digital sales are going to be decent and stuff like that. Kind of would. I don't know if it would. I don't know if it would replace my Portal.
I think
totally.
you'd still buy a Switch 2. I don't think there's any world in which you wouldn't buy a Switch 2. Personally, I don't. Again, like I'd love you to prove me wrong, but I'm like the second there's a Zelda game, a Metroid game, and I don't know whatever else. What's Chris like?
That is also the other thing for the Switch. In general, all its life, if you've had that like really good like couple of years, it's been a lot of stuff I've already, even these games this year, but like I've already played Mario Kart on my Wii U and Pikmin 3 already played them. With the Switch 2, it's gonna have to be a new Mario Kart. It's gonna be new 3D Mario. It's gonna have to be a new Zelda. Well, it doesn't have to be. They can 4K Wind Waker, or like a new Smash or something. It's like a new Fire Emblem. You'd hope and stuff like that. Especially if it's backwards compatible with the Switch. So that's like a new Mario Kart. That is actually excited. I would get excited for a new Mario Kart. I think. Well, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I did not get excited for that because I had already played it on my Wii U. Yeah.
Like I said, it's difficult because like I'm hearing a lot of things that Sony does that you're absolutely fine with. So like we've had Last of Us on the last 3 consoles, and you've bought them every time.
No, I never bought the PS4 version.
Do you know?
I played the PS4 version, but never actually. I played it through Plus.
Yeah,
but I never actually bought it. That's the thing. I didn't buy that game. I just played it for a subscription.
So we stopped going in circles, and obviously we've still got to talk about what we played. You sold the Switch. What out of 10? How likely do you think now, knowing what we know now, that you'll buy a Switch 2 within the first year is?
It all comes down to the price.
So what we know now, let's say the price. What would you say, Craig? $499? Is that a fair prediction based on everything else we know at the moment?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe let's say 450, so it's kind of in the middle.
So say it's 450.
I think that's tempting him at least, because I think 499.
It's everything the leaks say, so it's as powerful as the Series S and all this. Would you, we know that some of the games that are going to come out, what comes out in the first year of a Nintendo console at this point, don't you? So do you think, how likely out of 10 do you think it is?
I want to say about 6.
Craig, how likely do you think it is that Chris Pengelly would buy that console in the first year?
Oh, I'd say it's very high. I'd say it's like a 9 or a 10. But
I think it's a guarantee. I don't think Chris Pengelly will go as long as you can physically buy it. I don't think there's any chance that you go 12 months from launch.
Okay, because that's the other thing is if it comes, let's say March next year, and I'm buying my Pro in February, obviously that's the money's gone to the Pro then, sort of thing. But then if it's March to March, I could pick, the 3D Mario comes out November 2025. Yeah, that would be in the calendar. Yeah,
would.
That's a possibility there. But I do think about a 6 out of 10 at the moment.
We'll see. Yeah. But that's Chris Pengelly. Sold his Switch. He hates Nintendo for the time being.
I don't hate Nintendo.
For doing exactly what they've always done and exactly what Sony does. But he will be back when a game that he likes is available to buy.
Well, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a game that I would like, and I'm not playing it, am I?
Indeed. So let's move on to what we've been buying and playing with Craig. What have you been buying and playing, Craig?
In terms of, I don't think I've bought anything. I think it's mainly just what I've been playing. So I can't remember if I spoke about this last time, but I did go back to Astro's Playroom Boys, and I did get those 2 trophies I was missing.
Hell yeah.
Which one of them was the speedrun one, because I remember I said last time how I didn't realise that I had the platinum but I didn't have all the trophies, and that was upsetting me. So it's a speedrun one, and then one other just nonsense one. The speedrun was actually quite fun. I'm not normally into that sort of thing, but I did quite enjoy in doing them. The levels were challenging, but they weren't like too long, so it didn't feel like too much of a grind. And they did a really good job of the trophy of setting the target like perfectly. Like it's like 7 minutes, and I feel like a lot of people would have been around like 6:58, 6:59. So it was like that, like it was achievable, but it was still like something where you had to kind of you weren't just doing the levels once and look, I'm 4 minutes under the target. Of course, I'm going to get the trophy. So they did a good job of that. I finished at 6:59. Sorry, so I was less than a second under the trophy, but I did still beat Pengi. So that's that. I think I was like 6:59.2, and Pengi was 6:59.6 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll have more of them soon on Astrobot.
Yeah, but you can see how good of a job they did with that kind of trophy and put that time. That I just feel like a lot of people would have been around that sort of mark anyway.
The only thing is, like, I don't know how many levels this, but it's like 10 new bots. It's like, are they gonna have 10 new speed levels, or are we gonna have to like stop in the speed level to find like 2 more bots or something?
I think it's a fair assumption they'll have 10.
Yeah, I think they have 10.
Yeah, that'd be good. 10 levels, 10 bots or something, and you get each bot from thing. But don't know. They might be sneaky. I don't know, 5 levels, 2 bots per one or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you've got to do a certain time to get the bot, or the second bot on the level.
Yeah.
You get one for completing and one for getting a certain time.
Yeah, I can see that actually. Yeah.
So I did Astro's Playroom, and then confusingly, I also finished Astrobot since last time, boys. I think last time I hadn't finished it. I was close. But hadn't quite got there, and I also think I was kind of not dreading some of the word, but I was a little bit like concerned of that last level, because obviously you boys had struggled. I'd seen other people had struggled, and I was like, oh god, this is going to take me ages, isn't it? But luckily, boys, I feel like I actually got through it the quickest out of all of us, which I mean, especially to Dave, that'd be a surprise, because he's seen me play 3D platformers like that bloody Sackboy game that we played. So Dave knows just how bad I am. But I think it was about 40 minutes it took me to kind of get through it, which I was quite happy with.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't. It wasn't too bad for me. I actually think I probably took longer on some of the challenge levels. Some of them might have been a little bit more difficult. I mean,
It was the one with the lava. That was pretty difficult, the challenge level.
Yeah, that sucked with the ducky.
Yeah.
You mean you had to spray the? I got stuck on that for a while. That did suck. You're right. But yeah, that last level for me wasn't too bad. The worst bit for me was the second to last obstacle, just the fucking spinning PlayStation symbols, and it was the X or the cross, whatever they call it, and it sucks because it's pure luck. Pure luck on where you land on this X, basically. If you land on the side, you're fine. Whereas if you just a smidgen early or a smidgen late, you get twatted and you're off and you're dead and you're like, great, fantastic. Especially that's the second to last, and it's quite long, isn't it? So it's like, that took me ages to get to that point. So yeah, but yeah, finished that. Just great shit, fantastic game. I love it, absolutely brilliant. So much fun to play, and it does such a good job of like celebrating PlayStation, but also celebrating just games in general, I think. So yeah, enjoyed that a lot. And I did wait a couple of days, and I started Plucky Squire, which obviously came to Plus, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
was it extra or premium or whatever nonsense word they use? So I started that, and I have actually finished that now. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really cool concept, and it has some really good ideas, and it's got some really cool mini games. It's got a great art style. I do think it does suffer a little bit from being a bit basic and a bit handheldy in a way. Like it doesn't feel like it trusts you as the player completely. Some of the times, which is it can feel like a little bit like a breeze, like almost like it's aimed for like a younger audience. But I don't think the younger audience probably actually cares for this game because they're all busy playing Fortnite or whatever anyway. So I do think it suffers from that a bit, but overall I think it was really good, really fun. I finished it. I can kind of see that it's a doable platinum, but as Penguins will talk about later, there's some issues. So I've kind of like stayed away from that at the moment, hoping that they'll fix everything. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go back and mop up trophies and try and get the platinum for that eventually. But for the time being, I'm just going to kind of leave that where it is, I think, because I don't want to have to bang my head against a brick wall like I think Penguins has probably been doing a little bit of. Yeah. And then the only other thing I've played is Ratchet and Clank. This is not the newest one, not Rift Apart. This is the PlayStation 4 one, which I think was 2016, right?
Yeah, the
that
remake.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm playing a lot of that. I've been playing a lot. I've been kind of split between sometimes playing on the portal, sometimes playing on the big screen. And it's been fantastic on the portal. I played a lot of the Plucky Squire handheld as well because I've managed to kind of make my portal a lot more reliable now just by switching the frequencies of the bandwidth or whatever it is from 5 gigahertz from 2.4. That has like made my portal now like just perfect pretty much all the time, which is really nice because mine was weird. It would be like perfect and great sometimes, and then sometimes it wouldn't quite be like how I'd want it to be. But yeah, just by making that one little change, it's actually it seems a lot more reliable now, which is cool. So yeah, I've gone back to Ratchet and Clank because you boys might remember I did start this game when I had my PlayStation 4. But I never finished it, even though I think I think I'm now caught up to where I was. And I don't think I can't have been like that far from the end. So why I didn't just like finish the game, I have no idea. Because this is a great game. It's really fun. And I don't know why I stopped where I did. And it might have just been that like the PlayStation 4 was just done for me at the time. So I was just like, I just didn't really think about it. But yeah, I think I might have been pretty close to the end. So I've caught back up where I was now, and I'm enjoying that a lot. It's got quite a high. It's like 30% completion on True Trophies. So I was like, oh, is it a doable platinum? But I feel like it's 30%, but it's going to be a pain in the ass. 30%.
It's 2 playthroughs.
Yeah,
you need to do hard mode.
Yeah,
That's
I believe you unlock like challenge mode or something like that, don't you?
Yeah.
And I was like, and bear in mind, obviously, I've already played through like I don't know, let's say 80% of this game years ago, and I'm playing through it again now, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do another one again. If it was just as simple as doing that, I might do. But I think there's also some other bits you've got to like go and mop up.
Yeah,
I think you've got to get.
It's
the collectibles. You've got to get every enemy to dance to the Groovaton weapon, which that would be an absolute,
including all the bosses as well.
Yes, pain in the ass to track, and like you can just imagine. You think you've done that, and you get to the end, and you realise you haven't. You're like, oh, am I doing a 4th playthrough now? Like, what am I doing? So I don't think
the second one has a very straightforward achievement, a trophy list. Sorry, the PS5 one, which is a much better game as well when you get to it. Yeah,
that is on my backlog. It's a little bit weird that I've like jumped back to this, but I kind of went into it thinking, oh, I'm probably going to play this handheld most of the time. Yeah. And then I started playing on TV a little bit more, partly because I finished Plucky Squire, and then I was like, oh, I don't know, do I start something now, or do I wait for Starfield expansion? I was kind of tempted to start The Last of Us at one point, and I was like, oh, I've only got like a few days, like, I'll just wait and play Ratchet on the TV for a bit, because it is a very pretty game, considering it's 2016, so yeah, that's it. Very, very PlayStation heavy. But I did say at the beginning of the month that I felt like this month was going to be pretty much mostly PlayStation because of Astrobot and Plucky Squire. So
nice, Krugo. Is that everything for you?
Yeah, that's everything for me.
We'll do me then before we get to a little end to the episode on Chris Pengelly. So pickups, I don't think so. We couldn't establish before if I had, but I don't think so because I bought Elden Ring on the last poddy. I believe. So for PS5, I have played a little bit more Elden Ring. It's funny because it's a really good game, and it goes completely against my hatred for modern slop thing that I'm probably going to talk about in a minute. It's just very time consuming because you just have to be constantly playing it to like for it to stick, if that makes sense. Like it's one of those where you make slow progress, but the progress is actually a lot more satisfying than I've found in other Souls games. It's one of those, if you like, or you've got a little bit of an inkling towards those games, it's not a bad one to play. Like it's not a difficult game in terms of like the mechanics and everything. It's more like it doesn't really tell you where to go. But once you've had one little look up of the order to start, like it gets pretty. It's a good gameplay loop, I think, is what I'm trying to say. But so I've played a little bit of that. Also on PS5. So obviously we all finished Astrobot. That's done. Now, I'm not going to wait for the DLC. I'd rather sell it and get some more money, to be honest with you. It was good. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I am bored out of my mind, Craig. Good. It is a boring game. Because the story and the characters are really compelling. But for every 10 minutes of interesting story, you've got 4 hours of wandering around an open world that you can't climb very well. It's a little bit clunky. The combat system seems dumbed down compared to the first one, or I just don't remember the first one as well, because it is just kind of like mash square to win. And I'm like, oh, okay. Or you put it up a difficulty and then you just get railed because you haven't spent 10 hours doing side quests, and I just can't be bothered. I just cannot be bothered. I know how Final Fantasy VII ends. I'm like, this isn't even the final game of the remake series, so I'm kind of just like, oh, this will probably go on the backlog until I remember it's there, then I'll probably sell it. Very unimpressed, to be honest with you.
I love the idea that Final Fantasy 16 killed PlayStation for you last year.
Yeah.
And now that this has kind of killed PlayStation, Final Fantasy is like killing you just every time with PlayStation.
It's the hope, isn't it? It's the hope. It's like Arsenal getting to like winning the league in Christmas, right? And you're like, oh, it's finally the year. We're finally going to do it. We haven't done it in years. And then you play it and you're like, we've drawn to Crystal Palace. Like, it's all gone up in flames. Like that's how it feels. Like Final Fantasy just isn't the game that I want it to be anymore. And it hasn't been for 20 years, like 15, 20 years. So I don't know why I keep trying. But yeah, it's one of those games that like people have really hyped up, and I've played it and I don't see it.
Oh yeah,
I don't think it looks particularly good. I think it looks pretty bad.
It's literally why they're showing it on the Pro. It's like one of the biggest Pro games, because it does not look good in the 60 frames mode. And then it's like, who wants to play 30 frames? So yeah,
and it's like, compared to some of the other remakes I've played this year of RPGs, this isn't even sit in the same postcode as Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. It's not even close. It's not even close. I know people, like I said, you guys don't have Switches anymore, but like that game is so much better than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's wild. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. So that's PlayStation. I haven't really played anything else on PlayStation. On Xbox, I actually went back to Yakuza Like a Dragon because I wanted something to make me feel things again, Craigo. So I've done another 3 chapters. I'm on chapter 9 now, and I'm really enjoying it. This makes the side quests fun. Obviously, you've got like the rubbish collection stuff and Dragon Cart and all that. And it's just an enjoyable game. The characters are really interesting. The side quests are really well written. It's a big enough open world, but it's not too big, so you don't feel like you're constantly trailing through mountains, for example, and fighting the same 3 dudes. It's just a really well made game, and it's obviously on Gold or Plus or whatever that I'm playing on. I think it's on Game Pass, Craig. I think that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying Like a Dragon. Want to get it finished and eventually catch up and get onto Infinite Wealth before the very fun looking Like a Pirate comes out on Craig. And I don't know if you've seen the gameplay trailer for that game, but they've added aerial combat, and it looks like Devil May Cry now. It looks amazing. So I'm looking forward to that.
What more do you need?
Right, but yeah, Yakuza Like a Dragon's great. If people haven't played it, I really do recommend it. It's very cheap on all the platforms it's on. Very good. And on the Nintendo Switch, so I've played a lot of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe online with the 72 new tracks that Chris hasn't played because he doesn't play Mario Kart because he thinks it's the same as the Wii U version.
I did play the new tracks, but yeah, that's DLC. I wasn't counting DLC.
Right. Remember that for Last of Us Part 2 Remastered HD Turbo Hyper Edition that comes out next year on the PS6. But yeah, Mario Kart 8 was great. I'll be playing lots of that. Just me and my girlfriend play a lot. It's one of those games. I did actually get back to Rayman Legends.
What a game!
Which I've never finished because obviously it famously got moved from an exclusive on the Wii U and it got moved into an awful time, if I remember rightly, Chris. I think it was supposed to be March on Wii U, and then it got moved into September, and it was up against like a couple of really big games when they put it on everything, and I just never got around to it. And I've had it on Switch for years because it's always like £1 in the sale. So I'm like a couple hours in. I'm really enjoying it. It's nice to play that kind of platformer again. I'm reviewing a game. I can say it. I'm reviewing Grapple Dogs 2 that I have a code for, so I will talk about that more.
Can you tell them to do the PS4 version and get please?
No, I low-key respect that they just put it on Switch, Steam, and Xbox, to be honest. There must be a reason why they don't put it on PlayStation.
I know, because that's one sell right there to Chris Pengi.
But yeah, it's good if you would play either game on Xbox or Switch. I really recommend. I think Craig would actually quite like it. It's quite an interesting 2D platformer. Grapple Dogs. The sequel's just as good, but I'll talk about that more once I finish the game. So obviously I'm reviewing it, so I don't want to.
I'm still stuck on Rayman Legends. Oh god, you were talking a couple of days ago about Ubisoft and what they need to do. Just bring back Rayman. Oh,
Rayman Legends 3. I mean, Ubisoft's a funny one because this is a thought I've had. I really want to get to Prince of Persia at some point.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Because obviously you guys talk really highly of it, and it's very cheap all the time, let alone with Ubisoft Plus on Xbox. But there's that, and then the other game I played on Switch is Monster Hunter Stories HD, which I am 10 hours in. I play it most nights. It's like I said to you before. It's basically just Monster Hunter Pokemon, but they've got all of the gubbins enhancements you want in RPGs, Craig. So it's got a ×3 mode for combat that just stays on, so everything goes. All the animations are nice and snappy. I really like the simple battle system. I really like the monster. Like catching, I suppose. It's not catching because I wasn't intended to sue them, but like it's got all of it's a Monster Hunter game, but it's a turn-based RPG. It's really weird. Like it has all the same, like the quest system's the same. Like you get off a quest board and you like collect stuff when you're in the bigger areas and you kill certain monsters, and it's just generally speaking a Monster Hunter game, but as a turn-based JRPG, and it's just a really enjoyable experience. And I think it's on PlayStation 4 and 5 as well. If you want a bit of Pokemon but that isn't actually Pokemon and you like Monster Hunter, I think it's a really really good game. It's basic, but it's like I said, it doesn't have all of the modern slop gubbins that I hate so much. So I'm not trailing through a massive open world for no reason. I haven't had to get an EXP boost.
Final Fantasy VII had an open-ish world back in the day. You had the map.
It did, and Final Fantasy VII, the original game, takes how many hours to complete? 30?
Like, right.
Right? And how long did the part 1 of Remake take? And that was linear. I liked that. But,
30.
Okay, so... But yeah, it's... Like I said, I'm so done with the EXP boost, deluxe edition, battle pass, open world shit at the minute that they charge you £70 for. I can't be bothered, Craig. Like, I cannot be bothered. It winds me right up every time I get excited. I'm like, oh, this game's coming out. Yes. And then I put in for 2 hours and I'm like, fuck, this is so boring. I am so bored out of my mind.
Where we're doing that, one that annoys me is Life is Strange just having an early access version.
It winds me up. It's like in Ubisoft's statement about Shadows, they were like, oh, it's feature complete, but we're delaying it because of. It's like, no, what you mean is the game is functionally ready but needs its day one patch. You've accepted that the stealth system's terrible in Outlaws. But we're gonna. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah, I just don't see the point. Like, I mean, obviously, Craig's the best of us anyway because he doesn't pre-order games. So I think once you stop buying games when they come out, unless they are actually good, so like Astrobot, for example, which again my partner bought for me anyway. I think it's you live a happier life because it's just you get too excited. It's like Dragon Age, for example, really good example here. Like I know full well Dragon Age in 4 months' time will be cheaper and better than it is on launch day, won't it? So it's like there's no point getting excited and pre-ordering a game, playing it the day it comes out because it just makes you annoyed. Like I was actively annoyed playing Dragon's Dogma and Final Fantasy, and I think I was the only one of us that just stopped playing Dragon's Dogma because I think you guys were just like, we hate it, but we can't stop.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like, I'm not bothering.
One of us got the true ending in Dragon's Dogma too.
I don't think anyone would have bet good money that would have been you and not me and Craig.
No, the one that annoys me with Life is Strange is there's like a 2-week early access. So that's a story-driven game, so some people are going to be able to play it 2 weeks early, so that's going to be spoilers. It's like £80 and there's a cat saving mission or something that which is only on that version.
But didn't they do that with Before the Storm, where like the final episode was only in the like deluxe edition? You had to buy.
Where you could play as Steph. In before not Before the Storm. True Colors. I should say, we could play as Steph in mission, which I did have because I think you could buy it separate. So hopefully you can buy the cat mission separate. But it's just like, it's going to be spoilers at least for the first 2 chapters, because I'm only going to wait until the standard release comes out on the 29th because I'll buy it physical and stuff. And I'm like, great. I'm like, oh look, Chloe turns up at the end of chapter 1. Great. Now I know, that sort of thing.
Right, and you can say what you want about Nintendo. There isn't a deluxe digital edition of Echoes of Wisdom, is there? You just buy Zelda and it's Zelda.
No.
So, yeah. But anyway, rant over. That's what I've bought and I played. I would anticipate, because I'm currently dog sitting away, I have my laptop and my Switch, so I'd imagine it's going to be more Switch this week. But you never know, Craig. Maybe I'll
What about Rogue Trader, the Warhammer game?
So that's actually just had a huge patch, but I just haven't had the will to play a PC game because I work in, as you all know, in an office. I just haven't been wanting to turn my laptop on. So I might play some more of that because I do really like that game. It's also a long ass PC game. I think I'm 30 hours in. I don't think I'm in chapter 3 yet. So
this is going to confuse you. There is a PC game that's come out recently that I'm tempted to see. Well, I think graphically, I think even my old laptop might be able to run it. So that there could be a shock 1 week soon I'm playing a PC game.
Then the gaming PC gets bought down in Craig, and then the cycle continues.
We got another gaming laptop. That's what
That's what we need. But anyway, speaking of madness and Chris Pengelly, what have you bought and played this week?
I think I've been quite sensible, seeing as like being a sort of week and a half. I've played 3 games. One of them's Deep Beyond, which plays on these are all PlayStation. I haven't played anything but PlayStation. So this one, I saw Game Society. I saw it on Keymailer. Didn't know what it was. Never put a thing. And I saw Games Asylum did a review, and I thought, that actually sounds quite interesting. And then one of my pickups, so I was like, I got some money left. I'll Deep Beyond £6. For £6, I'll give it a go. And I played it, but after Astro and before Space Marine 2, so it was like Astro's not that long, but like between those 2 games, sort of like the palette cleanser sort of game. It's like an hour long. It's a sort of a walking sim. Dave's favourite genre after Souls, like the walking sim. It's like a sort of water sim with like some light puzzles. It's all voice acted though. It's got some cool music, a really nice art style, and like when you're in your boat, I know, shock, there's a boat. Like the sea's like blue, not blue. It's actually orange instead of blue, and the sky, the sky's different. It's got like this weird, like pastel-y sort of art style. Like I said, it's a bit of a palette cleanser sort of game. It's an hour long. It does what it, from even Games Assignment's room, it did what it set out to do. So I played that. It's good for what it is. Then Space Marine 2 was after that, which you got your Shield walking sim game, and now you got your Let's Rip and Chair Tyrannids Depart with your chainsaw weapon and your bolt and shooting to bits the bolt gun thing. Actually, I think I talked about it in a couple previous episodes. It's an odd game. Like, it hasn't got any of your modern day bloat you mentioned, Dave. Weirdly, it has got very old school with like lots of modes and stuff like that. But it does get very repetitive. Like, you got your 5 missions or operations, as they're called, in the campaign, and they're all quite long. Like, it comes to it's about 7-8 hours the campaign, so you're looking like an hour and a half. But it's all very samey. It's like you go down a hallway, you get some like dialogue over like a headset sort of thing from your captain, and you get to like a room, and it's like, there's an elevator. You press the button for the elevator, you wait 10 minutes. Here comes 500 Tyranids. You slaughter them, slaughter them. You go up the elevator, you walk down like another hallway, get some more dialogue. You might pick up some ammo. There might be a data stick thing with some lore and that. Goes in like next thing. It's like, oh, now you got to like protect the satellite. You protect the satellite, and then here's 50 million Tyranids again, which you can. But it is fun as all hell to shoot them and chainsaw them and stuff like that. But I do think like the campaign length for like 7 hours is right, because if they made it like 3 hours long, you'd be like, oh, that's too short. But if it was like 15 hours, I think you would definitely get bored of like that repeat nature of the mission structure. So the campaign I finished, and then I went into the operate. It's weird because it's actually called operations mode. Even the missions are called operations. The operations mode, which is the co-op stuff, which is which has 6 missions in, which are played some like randoms and stuff like that online, which is again very similar to the actual campaign. You get story beats and stuff like that. It's much the same. It's like stand around. We need to break this wall down so actually the main guy can go past it in like the main campaign. But it's fun playing that in multiplayer, and you can do your classes and stuff. So I play like the healer class and stuff when we're playing the co-op. That's what I picked. So it's like it is a little bit variety. So I was like, oh, I need to be near my teammates so I can put down my banner so they can heal, and that does a bit of variety. And then it's got the PvP mode, which has got like team deathmatch and stuff, which you get in place your classes. So there's a lot of content. It's like you got your single player, you got your co-op missions, and then you got your team deathmatch. So there's a lot of content in the package and stuff like that. And it's like there's no bugs or anything like that. It just works, and the gameplay is fun. It's just it gets a little bit repetitive doing the same sort of mission after like each other, the 5 missions of, it's very old school, like 360 in that terms of stuff.
Nice.
And then the only other one I played was.
Have you still got it, or have you sold it?
No, I sold it. Yeah.
I called it, Dave. I fucking called it.
Standard, innit?
Yeah.
I'll play this game.
I killed it.
Sorry, sold it already.
Yeah, after all of the we all need to buy it on PlayStation. I said he'd sell it before us had even got a chance to buy it.
Well, yeah, I have finished the campaign and the co-op. I think I got 49% of the trophies or something on it. And
Didn't think, I keep it, play with the boys, have some fun. Nah, just sod it.
It's literally how I feel about Monster Hunter. That's why I'm not planning anything around Monster Hunter. Because the second I don't buy it the day it comes out, I buy it a month later. Chris has already finished it and sold it. And I'll be like, well, there's no point.
Yeah, see, Monster Hunter's weird because Monster Hunter's gonna have an expansion, so gotta stay for that. Anyway, the other one I've played and finished and platinumed now, eventually, which Craig alluded to, was Plucky Squire. Which I've now but definitely finished it twice, but like going back for stuff, I've actually finished it 3 times now. So I played it, finished it first time, and I got all the trophies apart from 2 just on natural play of the game. Really fun. I prefer the 2D sections over the 3D. I think the 2Ds are Zelda-like, very simple. Craig was saying, like a younger audience is very simple, and same with the puzzles and stuff, which are word-based, which reminds me a bit of Lost Words, which I played on Stadia. Doing the puzzles and that of open it. I got to move this letter that says this word open to this bit where it says closed, and then the gate opens and stuff like that. The 3D I wasn't as keen on. I think the 3D sections let the game down a bit. I don't know what you think, Craig, between the difference of the 2D and 3D sections.
So I quite like the 3D bits, just because I didn't feel like they were too complicated. A lot of time it was you've got to come out, you've got to get the post
new item,
something like that, yeah. And you do your 3D combat, and you do a little bit of platforming, not much, and it kind of just mixes it up a little bit, I found. And it normally ended with a cool mini game boss fight, which I quite liked as well.
Yeah, the boss fights were quite good.
I wasn't a huge fan of the puzzles which involved going backwards and forwards
of the book,
where you're turning the page and tilting the page, because some of them are really well done, they're really clever, but there are some which just they're very unintuitive. It kind of wants you to do stuff which it's not really taught you. So it doesn't. There's definitely times where I just didn't feel like there's a natural like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Like I just need to figure out like how to get there. It was more like I just kind of was mucking around, and then suddenly I done it, and I was like, oh, that was what I needed to do. So yeah, I didn't mind the actual 3D bits. It was some of the puzzles where you're going backwards and forwards and flipping the pages and turning the pages. I found a little bit like annoying.
Hmm. So anyway, I finished it for the first time round, missing 2 trophies. I saw Maka put a guide up for the art scrolls and the glitch birds. I was missing 12 art scrolls, so followed his guide, got the art scrolls, got that trophy, all good. And I had 6 out of 10 of the glitch birds, so I'm only missing 4, and then that would be the trophy for that. So I follow Maka's guide. 99.9% sure I've got all 10 of them, and my trophy says I've only got 8 out of 10. I was like, okay. Well, this one on chapter 2 is the last one I got. So go back to chapter 2. The glitch bird's still there. Collect it again, and it says, this is the 8th one, and my number stays 8 out of 10, even though I'm pretty sure I've got 10 out of 10. Google it, and there's like a Reddit post on how the glitch birds are glitched, ironically, through chapter select, and there actually was a patch on the Steam version, and that was one of the things they fixed, and console version was coming later because there's different times with the. So console version patch comes, says here's one of the fixes. So I go back in, get the bird on like chapter 2, and it still says it's number 8. And the one before that was chapter 5. Went back that one clicked. It's like, this is number 9 out of 10. So I was like, the one in chapter 2 must have respawned again. Hopefully it says it's 10 out of 10. Maybe it's done. No, it had gone. And I was like, well, I've got them. I'm pretty sure I've got them all. Like, am I going to go check all 10 glitch birds again? No. So I just replayed the game. I put on the story mode. I put every accessibility option on. And it took me just over 3.5 hours to like finish and play the game again and get all 10 glitch birds in order to get that trophy and get me the platinum, which on True Achievement is my rarest trophy now, I think. But it's not my rarest game. My rarest game is still Stranded Deep, even though the Plucky Square Platinum is rarer. It's 948 on TT of a 3.16 thing. And it's like a 1.8% platinum or something. And that is now my rarest platinum. So there. That's
actually, I kind of like
it's weird. It's an easy platinum. You just like play and finish the game, but so that's most probably going to drop from being my highest trophy. But then some people might not go back because I don't know, or don't know the patch is up or whatever. And I can see a lot of people playing it because it's a plus game. Because if you look at my my best games, Astro's Playroom is a rarer platinum than Astro Bot, but that's mostly because everyone's played it because it's installed in the PS5, where people playing Astrobot want to play Astrobot and sort of
I
things.
think I did see that Plucky Squire was like the second biggest plus launch of the year, so a lot of people have obviously tried
behind Dave the Diver. So yeah, I can see it's keeping rare. So thing. So yeah, I played and finished that twice, and like I said, that's sort of thing. So yeah, so I got a real platinum, Dave. Are you pleased? Like a rare platinum?
Pleased is not the word. I'm moderately satiated.
Okay, because I did get 2 platinums in Ice Cube a while ago.
Yeah, that's again. It's only you hurt, Chris. It's only your own fault. I think at this point.
Yeah, dirty platinums thing, and then that's all I've played. Just those 3 games. But I did have not physical pickup, a download. It's actually like a week and a half ago now with Elden Ring, with my Concord refund.
And how is
you've wasted your Concord refund? Is what you've done, Pengi.
You should have just kept Concord at that point.
Yeah.
They didn't let me keep it. That's the problem. I haven't started it yet, Craig. That's the thing, because obviously Astrobot and Warhammer and stuff came out, and yeah, I picked it up when it was on sale, Elden Ring, and like I said, with Deep Beyond, I still had some Concord money left over. That's why I picked that up and stuff.
I
did
just
have
could not think of anything worse than playing that video game. I'll be honest with you, because even if you're following a build with the easiest spell build or whatever, you're still just wandering around that world aimlessly, aren't you?
Yeah, so I did
And every
ask,
time you die, you're going back, and you save it,
yeah.
and it'll come back. Yeah, I just couldn't think of
See,
anything
that's the
worse.
thing. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I have played against the Blade and Rise of Ronin, which aren't as difficult this year. So, and Dragon's Dogma, I know is different, but that's still quite archaic and stuff like that. I did ask the G-Namer boys beforehand because I was tempted, as we talked about when we were going back through old PlayStation games, about Demon Souls, and I knew Jay had just platinumed that. And he was like, nah, you don't want to play that. You want to, if you're going to get one, you're going to try Elden Ring. I was like, oh, this thing. But I did ask Luke, and his was because we talked about this the last episode, I didn't do the bare minimum of exploring Dark Souls 3 or Breath of the Wild. So he doesn't think I like it. But on the other hand, there's a lot of RPG options in it, and you can, obviously, you get stuck, you can go wander off and do other things. And actually, he was thinking Demon Souls might be more my pick because it's the ultimate contrarian pick, that one. So it'd be interesting how I do get on, because Jay did say the same about the open world. He bet it gets dark, you can go over and do other stuff. But then Luke does pick up why I hated Breath of the Wild and stuff. So
I think,
yeah,
with you, but you like to know where you've got to go, and you want to just get there, don't you?
oh yeah,
In my head, every
Yes.
objective marker in every game, Dave, for me and Pengwizard's head is right. How am I getting there as quickly as possible? I'm just sprinting to that objective marker. I'm getting
Yes.
there. I'm
See,
getting
this
it
is-
done. Right, where am I going next? Oh fuck! All right, okay, we're going there now. We're off. Right, well, there's other shit going. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gone. I'm
Yeah,
there.
see, this-
I'm locked in. And I just the idea of Penguins aimlessly wandering around this world and exploring on Elden Ring, picking up on this deep lore through this environmental story, all this bullshit. Penguins is gonna hate it. It's gonna be incredible.
And the worst thing is he's bought it digital. At least mine's physical, so if I hate it, I can sell it.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. What you're saying is kind of right. Stellar Blade, it was very linear, especially the start of it, until you get to the city, and it's even though you had the sort of Soulsy sort of combat-ish. I know some people that that have played Soul game mostly tell me it isn't. But you had that, and you had your camps and stuff, and if you died, you went back to them camps, and that's the thing. It was right, I'm going this way. All right, there's the objective marker of the boss. Right, that's where we're going. Kill the boss, and then it's you carry on the story. And then even when you're in the big open world desert, it's right, I need to go over to Sector 6. Right, let's just wander to Sector 6. That is where the icon is, and what we fight on the way is what we fight on the way. But from what I do know about Elden Ring, I think when you do the first bonfire, not called bonfire, there's a big light in the sky on the castle, so you have to just head to the big light.
From every bonfire, there's a Ghost of Tsushima wind thing, but it's you just follow it, and that's the next main objective. But there's on the start bit, for example, there's loads of caves to go in, because you really need to get around about level 20 to do the first boss. But it's, again, if you want it to be it's just one of those, you have to have time and you have to research it. That's my
one of the
honest
reasons why
because I don't think the game itself is actually that difficult. Compared to the Stellar Blade demo that kicked my ass, I've not really struggled for actually killing enemies in Elden Ring. It's just about being more patient. But yeah, anyway, we need to end the podcast because I need the bathroom, to be honest with you, Pengi. So if you got this far for a relatively short 1 hour 20 minutes, comment Chris hates Nintendo, obviously. Chris is officially leaving the G-Namer forum to start out the Pony PlayStation forum instead. So you can join him at Massive Das for that. But yeah, next week I don't know what we're going to talk about. It's a complete mystery, so we'll find out then. But like I said, we'll see you next week.
Bye.